All right. We should be live. All right, go check Twitch here. Excellent. We are live and on. I want to check my. Yep, sound sounds great. And Mac Nonsense, welcome. Always the first one here. How you doing this morning? Okay, so we'll get here. We'll get started here in a few minutes. So anybody who like to share live, I am going to give you the invite link. Okay. Share where you're from, the weather is that's like in your area. How was your week? All that stuff. Because there is no life without Blender. Okay, so let's do. I want to put this in here real quick. To come on live, you're going to follow this link. I'm going to post here into the chat box. There you are. That is it right there. To come on live, you're going to come on to the StreamYard link. If you'd like to share anything with Blender or LightWave, welcome to the Blender 3D and LightWave discussions. All right, and welcome. Yeah, people are coming in now. All right. Oh, Kevin's here. I love it. Hey, Kevin.
How's it going?
I'm doing good. Great to see you.
You too.
We need to have more people of your caliber sharing.
Just three of us today.
I don't know if our usual person shows up, maybe, or it'll just be two of us. So it'll be one or the other. We've had four at one time before too. Yeah. So it there's no rhyme or reason at all. You get somebody that like Carm. He's more of a LightWave guy. He shows the LightWave tips and tricks. He came in last week. He was the one that I thought I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
And but we ran out of time.
Yeah, I normally don't. I mean, I have some LightWave things to show, but I don't work in LightWave anymore, really.
Right. Everything's going to Blender now.
Yeah. I have a medical client that I do a lot of animations for, and I've been doing them for years, and I started doing them in LightWave. And every year the medical stuff changes and
right.
New things get approved, procedures, drugs change. So they'll ask me like every year to make a change to a video from 3 years ago. So I have to crack open LightWave and find the scene files and trying to remember how to use LightWave.
Oh yeah, I hear you. But then again, just going back and readapting the technique to Blender, it's that's fun too. Yeah. There are some, I have to say there's still some things about LightWave that I hope Blender steals from because, there's still things that workflows and just kind of the simplicity of LightWave. Yeah, that was my feeling when I first started learning Blender. It's not my feeling anymore because now that I know Blender a lot more, now I understand why Blender does what it does. And it has to do what it does because it's a lot more in depth. And remember, LightWave code is very, very old.
Yeah,
it's really, really old. They're improving upon it. Yeah. They're making changes, but the initial code was so old that it at the time before the new guys took over, it didn't keep up with what was going on in the modern times.
Yeah.
I mean, Moto have surpassed it in terms of workflow in a lot of respect.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I remember just before LightWave, it was after they were bought, and it was after they were bought by VizRT, but before
right,
they were bought by the new guys. It was sort of just in limbo, and that one
right.
developer, Oliver Holtz, I think he came
Oh,
up with
yeah,
the OD tool set.
yeah. He lives in Los Angeles. We got together one Christmas,
Mm.
and he said,
He
"Well,
was
he's
the Yeah, he
brilliant,
was
brilliant."
like the last person to breathe life into LightWave with his OD tools.
Oh yeah.
They were like
Well,
400
yeah,
scripts.
yeah, of course, because he was making Lightwave. He was steering Lightwave down a path to modernize it.
Yeah.
And Oliver, I haven't talked to Oliver in a while, and I really should give him a call. Um,
Yeah,
it
he
was
actually made the like how Blender has the browser, what do they call it? The the library browsers and preset stuff. You can
okay,
load up a model, you can open up and see the icon. Like Oliver did that with LightWave years
right.
ago as one of his last gifts to us, us LightWave users.
Oh,
Plus,
Carm is here today. All right. So as I mentioned before, if anybody would like to share live, anything live, I'm gonna put the link into the chat box now. And that's the link to share live. And then to invite your friends to come on and join us on this broadcast, I'm going to put the direct link to our Twitch channel here as well for your convenience. There you go. So this when I just that's the direct link to the Twitch channel, the Chrome Illusion Twitch channel, or the Digital Creativity with Chrome Illusion, or Stephen Burns, aka Chrome Illusion. But today's broadcast is Blender and LightWave discussions. Okay, so Carm says he will get his mic. Cool. All right. So, Kevin, do you want to share your screen?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the only thing is on this platform, it doesn't seem to share the system audio from my computer.
It does.
Well, you can hear, like when I watch back some of your recordings from last week, I can barely hear it. I think I'm just hearing it from my speaker. It's not the actual audio.
That's interesting because I'm hearing it loud and clear here.
Well, you're hearing my microphone, but when I play something from my computer that has sound like a QuickTime,
right,
it sounds like I'm hearing it through a microphone, like very distant. It doesn't seem to be.
I'll have to go back and take a look at those. I have not gone back and look at those videos where you're playing sound on. So I'll go back and look at those again. But I was sure they upgraded this thing so you can actually, because I've done it before with other groups. The Photoshop group, a guy had a whole video thing he came on and presented, and it seemed to come through fine. So I don't know. Okay, I'll check it out and see if maybe might be something else I should pay attention to on this StreamYard platform. So okay, we've got your. So what would you like to share today?
Well, I was just going to kind of talk briefly about the cell shading techniques, just the outline kind of techniques.
Oh, that will be nice.
In Blender. But first, I'll show you a few examples. I think some of this I might have shown before, but some of this I haven't. Now, this one, this was done in LightWave a few years ago. It was a commercial for a car company, kind of like a Carvana, but I'm on the East Coast, so it's called Auto Lenders. It's a different kind of company, but so anyway, this was using some cell shading techniques.
So where are you on the East Coast?
I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, okay, Jersey.
Yeah. All right, so I'll just show this real quick. as one of the examples.
Nissan doesn't like Honda, and Honda doesn't like Toyota or Hyundai. Lexus doesn't like Infiniti, and there's no love lost with Acura. And don't get us started on BMW and Mercedes. If only there was a place where all these brands could live side by side in perfect harmony. At Auto Lenders, we carry 126 makes, models, and styles, all one owner, low mileage, and thousands less. See for yourself at any of our 5 New Jersey locations or at autolenders.com. A smarter way to buy a car.
So this stuff was all done in LightWave. Where I used to work, I had a guy that worked with me. He wasn't a 3D guy. He was a 2D guy, and he was really good at drawing like characters and, that kind of stuff. So I had him use, I think he used a program called Flash, which I don't think people use anymore.
No, it's a long time ago.
Yeah. But, it went out of favor, but he still used it because of its ease of use for allowing him to draw vectored animations, basically. Like he can do it in Illustrator, but you can't do a sequence in Illustrator. You can just draw your stuff and export it. But in Flash, he was able to draw in vector and then, render it out as a sequence. So I'd animate a shot like this in LightWave, and then I tell him how many frames I would need of his, face, and at what frame, the face should blink and look off to the camera and stuff. And these like weapons on top of the cars, those originally I wanted to have him do as 2D artwork, to draw it hand drawn, because the faces he did were hand drawn for me. But scheduling at the company, changed, and the producer says, "Oh, I gotta take him off the job," and I'm like, "No, I need him." And all that did was make more work for me. So I had to do these like weapon type things in 3D to try and sort of match what he was drawing, the faces.
So these are all 3D here.
Yeah, these are 3D objects that I had to build and render out. Same with this. This is all 3D stuff, except for the faces on the cars.
And do you have the scene files for these so we can see the geometry on it?
You know what? This is the LightWave stuff. I don't know that.
You can export it out to FBX if you remember the file.
Yeah, no, I have to like dig and search for it if I was to try.
All right, I get it.
It might be on a backup drive, but I don't want to waste time with you guys finding it. But yeah, all these things were, cell shaded things. And same with all this stuff.
I would love to see the cell shaded technique that you use.
Well, it's kind of the same. I have to say it renders faster in LightWave. But there's, let me just show you a couple other quick things here. Hey, why is this not going back? All right. Here's something that was done a few years ago for a pilot for a TV series. We made the pilot, but the series was never picked up. It was for a series called Most Likely Scenario, and it was based on actual like news events and things that happened in the world. And what it was, sometimes these things happen, and then of course the public goes all conspiracy theory and tries to say what happened. And then when they investigate what happened, they find out what happened. So that was the most likely scenario, is, what science revealed. So this was an event that actually happened in the mid-1990s. It was a horrible plane crash. It was TWA Flight 800. Everyone died on board. It took off in the flight took off from New York heading to Italy, I think it was. And just minutes after takeoff, all the people on like Long Island, this was during the summertime, all these people on the beach, summertime, the daylight lasts till like 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. And all these people saw what happened, and they, a lot of people kept saying that they saw what seemed like a missile flying off up and, intercepting the plane. And then they actually saw one more toward the horizon from the water up to the plane. And some of the, things that were talked about was that the Navy was conducting experiments maneuvers and things off of the Atlantic coast. But what they also found out after they took all the wreckage and analyzed it, and what the most likely scenario was that one of the tanks was near empty, and the fumes from the tank, here's this scene that I'm talking about. The fumes from the tank basically evaporate more and create fumes, and a spark ignited the plane in the tank. So this was a real event. This happened in the mid-90s. You can Google it.
So why did the public think that it was a missile?
Because what happened is all these people, like I said, it was during the summer months. So daylight, it wasn't pitch black. It was around 8:30 at night or so. But it was still like, sunset. It was still light out. And people were on the beaches. There were hundreds of people on these beaches, and they saw what looked like a missile, like a contrail, take off from kind of somewhere on the shore. It was probably behind dunes or something. These people, like hundreds of people, were interviewed after this event happened, and they talked about seeing something kind of swishing through the sky up toward the plane. And then they saw, which I didn't depict in animation, but they saw another one from the ocean, probably 15 miles out, come up from what they thought might have been a ship out there up to hit the plane. And at the beginning of this, there's this graphic that says proximity fuse missile. A lot of missiles aren't designed to actually hit their target. They're meant to get close and then explode.
Right.
And the shrapnel from the casing is what shreds the planes up. So that's what they were proposing, like happened here, was the thing didn't hit the plane. It hit above the plane and just sent shrapnel through the plane. And
But why would you fire even at the plane?
Well, this was what people reporting, and they thought it might have been a mistake from the Navy that was, because I believe that there were reports at the time that the Navy was off in the Atlantic doing things, but they weren't like firing missiles or anything. So anyway, that's what happened. Something happens and everyone starts talking about something and inventing their own story. But in this case, after they recovered all the wreckage and analyzed it, they deemed that it was, a fuel tank issue, where the fumes in the tank, the fumes were evaporating in the tank. For some reason,
Right.
The tank wasn't full. You'd think a flight overseas, you'd be filled up completely, but this was, part of the rolling. So anyway, I don't, so those are examples, and those were done in LightWave at the time. But nowadays, there's several ways that you can do. Let me just use a monkey here. Good old Suzanne. There's several ways that you can do the outline. I'm just really going to talk about the outline, not the actual tune shading part of it. Let's see. Let's grab this guy. Okay, so there's this there's kind of three methods in Blender for doing the outline of a toon shaded object. One is called inverted hull, which basically uses a solidify modifier on your object, and then you set those, you expand it. You know how solidify gives something thickness? Well, if you give it thickness and then invert the hull, invert the normals, and tell that the inverted part to be black, then you'll get a black outline around your object. There's limitations to it. I've tried it. I don't like it. And there's another version called, another way of drawing lines called grease pencil, which is a whole nother part of Blender that I haven't really delved into. But I did try the grease pencil. And what those do is they actually draw 3D from the camera's point of view. Grease pencil adds geometry to the scene. Those outlines are actually geometry that grease pencil adds. But when I worked with that, again, it has limitations. And one of them that I didn't like was that when I'm orbiting around and moving around my scene, all that stuff was really heavy and I could feel the performance slow down a lot. So I didn't like that method. The one I did like, and it might be kind of the least known about for doing the outlines, is called Freestyle. And it comes with Blender. It's sitting there. It's not an add-on or anything. It's, if you go to the render properties, down here, there's a check mark. And all this does is enable it. It's like a grandmaster switch to turn it on. The actual adjustments for it are in the view layer properties and right here, Freestyle. So I'm just going to turn my settings down so that this renders much faster. So what it does is it renders your frame first, and then about a second or two later, depends how complicated your scene is, how much geometry is in the scene. It then analyzes the objects and then traces the line. So here's just the default line quality that you get with Freestyle turned on. You don't see it until you render, kind of like in LightWave. Actually, in LightWave, you can see it live in the VPR. But all right, so if I go to the settings for Freestyle, the important things, I'll just go over the important things. It creates something called a line set, and that's all of the settings that I'll make for my lines. So, for instance, when I rendered that frame, I get a kind of a thin, evenly drawn line around the whole thing. But if I go to my Freestyle thickness setting, you know, I can change this to 9, which is large, and you get a thicker line around that. I'll just drop this back to 3 for a second. But here's the cool thing. There's modifiers that you can add to the line. And one of them I like is called calligraphy. And it's got thin and thickness to it, you know? And you can set up how thick the maximum gets to be. Let's say I type a big number like 30. So, you know, it looks like one of those calligraphy pens that you would draw with. So let me drop that back to 10. You can also, if I get rid of the calligraphy modifier and add a noise modifier. Now by default, the noise looks like that. But if you change the amplitude, let's say, I don't know, 2 period to 40, you get a little bit more of a, you know, waver to the line, you know. So these are kind of neat things, and these are things I don't think you could do with the grease pencil technique, or with, definitely not with the inverted hull technique. So I settled on the Freestyle thickness. Of course, you can change the color of the line too. There's a freestyle color setting here. It defaults to black, but you can, pick a bright yellow or something like that. Now, in some of the animations, let's say that here's a scene with two creatures. One of them, whoops, sorry about that. The Stegosaurus has kind of a reddish, dark brown line, and the T-Rex has a lighter colored line, and they're both in the same scene together. So right now, if I was to just add a, I don't know, add a nice tasty donut to the scene.
I'm sorry, we don't do donuts on our broadcast.
You do now. All right, so right now, if I rendered this, they're both getting the same thing applied to them. It's because that's what this line set is for. These describe what settings your line qualities will have. So for instance, let's say I wanted the monkey to have the current thing that I was just showing you. So I'll rename that line set to monkey. I'm going to create, what I'll do is I'll create another line set, and I'll call this donut. Of course, when I render it, they're both going to still be the same. They're both, even though the donut does have a different one, the first one takes priority. And that's because in order to separate these things out and have them have two different line sets, I need to drop them into a collection. So if I take Suzanne and I hit M, make a new collection, I'll call it monkey. And then I'll select my Taurus here, hit M to make a new collection, I'll call it donut. So now I have two collections, a donut, whoops. What happened to my monkey? Could have sworn I made a, all right, Suzanne selected, hit M, make. If I could spell it would help. Okay, so Suzanne is in a monkey collection, and my Taurus is in a donut collection. So when I go to my monkey line set here, I can tell it to use a collection, and I'll point it to the monkey collection. When I go to my donut, I can tell that to use a collection, and that'll be my donut collection. So now when I render it, I'm getting Suzanne had that modifier applied to it, and this one doesn't. It's just the default clean line. So that's how you start to get your lines, your line qualities, and the looks of your lines to look different for different objects in the same scene. So like, go to my donut, and I give that the calligraphy modifier. So that's how you end up with line sets. So this is my preferred method for doing lines in Blender. Now, of course, if you wanted to have your Suzanne can have her own material. I'll just show you quickly how to. I'll make a new material for the donut. A shader to RGB node. shaded view here. And a color ramp. And if I set these to constant, then I can get, you know, that tune shading look.
Yeah, that's nice. And then the color is controlled by the swatch there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and the highlights are controlled by the actual light in the scene. I'm moving my light around right now. Yeah, and you can get fancier with, you know, the shading. You can pipe textures in if you want or whatever, but I don't know if you know this one. If you just want to copy a color to another color real quick, you can just hover over it and hit Control C. Go here, Control V. Sorry. Why is that working here? Copy, paste. Rather than, you know, clicking on it and either remembering a hex number or something like that, you can just copy and paste right by hovering over something. So Control C and then Control V.
And weren't you supposed to also kind of shut down the what is that? My memory is shut down both the metal.
Shut down. I'm sorry. What are you saying?
Hold on just a second. Okay, so I think you want to shut down metallic and then increase your roughness. Does that help?
Not when you're that all kind of gets ignored with it has some effect, but the shader to RGB is the main thing that's kind of doing that.
Okay, that's overriding it.
Yeah. But yeah, you can, you know, these have some effect, I guess, at this point. It's doing something.
Right. Yeah, that was one of the things I learned about this particular technique you're using was to get rid of any type of reflections that can happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like in LightWave when you use the, I forget what it's called, the cell shader. It kind of overrides all of the shading settings. You know, any smooth shading, it kind of just takes over. That's kind of what the shader to RGB is doing. Although I don't have to have this as set to constant. These could be set to linear. You know, you kind of manually pinch it if you want just a slight bit of, you know, shading left still. If you don't want such a hard edge. So, yeah, there's a million ways to get what you want. And of course, you can add a third color stop in there. Something.
Utilizing your color ramp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could get 3. I find a lot of times once you get past 2, it gets a bit, clunky looking. But Yeah, so that's kind of basically what I wanted to show with outlines in Blender.
Very cool.
I mean, I have another quick thing if somebody else isn't ready to go.
You got a little more time left, so go ahead.
Okay. This one is, I like using EV renderer a lot because of its speed. So this is another EV technique.
So even with the cell shading that you just shown, would EV be optimal for that?
You're looking at EV right now.
Okay, good. Right.
Everything I'm showing here is rendered in EV.
Yes, fast.
Yeah, I don't think there's any benefit to using cycles for this kind of rendering, because I think it would take longer, you know, and I don't think it shows anything different in the end.
So they suspect that Stegosaurus can almost like bend its body in half, kind of like a pit bull does when it's fighting, to rip its tail around.
That's right. Don't mess with the Stegosaurus. Yeah, so this scene was set up the same way. It has two line sets, one for the Stegosaurus and one for the T-Rex.
That's a wicked tail.
Yeah, and that tail is the damped track modifier that I showed a couple weeks ago or whatever. You just get some free animation from that when you add that in.
That's awesome.
Thanks. All right, yeah, so this other thing that I wanted to show, which is another EV technique. One of the things about EV that makes it different from cycles is it doesn't ray trace bounce light. This light coming from this area light here is hitting the red, and it just kind of stops. The red would normally bounce around the scene. Also, these shadows, the shaded side of all of these objects has the same value. And in the real world, that wouldn't happen. And also with cycles rendering, that wouldn't happen. Cycles would calculate the light hitting the ground and then bouncing upward onto the other objects. And Eevee just doesn't do that by default. But there is something in Eevee called an irradiance map. So if you hit Shift A and you go into this light probe section, there's an irradiance volume. And that's what this is here in this scene. It adds this object, which has all these little dots in the populated throughout it. And the dots are set up in a grid pattern, in a 3D grid pattern. And what that allows you to do is, if I go to my, I'm used to LightWave for so many years, I just want to look at a button and see a word and not have to figure out what that little icon means. Is there any way to override that? I just want it to say render properties. Anyway, so
nope, there isn't.
Maybe they'll work on that for us LightWave users. Okay. So when you add an irradiance volume, you put it around your scene. It has to basically encompass what you're trying to light. And there are some settings inside of it. It defaults to a resolution of 4x4x4, and that's the dots that it's populating. Actually, I think it might have been 3x3. I'm just going to drop it down to 3x3 because it'll go faster. Okay, so this scene only has one light in it. And if I was to render it in Eevee, it would look just the way it does right now. It looks the same. It looks pretty bad. But because of this irradiance volume that I have set up in the scene now, if I go to the render settings and scroll down, there's a section called indirect lighting, and that's what we want. So I'm just going to say bake indirect lighting.
There we go.
And it's calculating all the bounce lights. Now you can see the reddish hue from this red ball bouncing up onto this guy here and to this guy here. And also all the shading, all the shaded sides aren't the same color anymore. They have bounce light lighting them up. So you can change the amount of diffuse bounces that something does. If I up this to 6 and then I bake the lighting again, it'll be a little bit more accurate. The thing that'll really increase the accuracy, but also the time for baking, is this resolution setting right here in the irradiance volume. So I'm not going to set this to be too much higher because it does take longer to calculate. So if I say bake indirect lighting, now my StreamYard thing is covering my progress bar, but I think it's, I think we're about halfway through. But basically, if you set that to be a high number, the resolution, you get a better quality because it's kind of like taking samples of where the geometry is in the scene and how the light should be bouncing up onto it. So this is good. Like if you're doing an architectural render and you have a room with furniture and tables and lights and stuff, and the only thing moving through the room is your camera, you can use an irradiance volume to, get lighting that looks more like what cycles would do. But the render time is still, a second a frame, or whatever, because it's Eevee. See what else. Yeah, so that's kind of, the only thing this doesn't do is, and here's a neat thing that I didn't expect it to happen, because I'm used to in LightWave, you can bake the global illumination cache, and then if I added another object and put it in the scene, it's completely unaffected by that cache. The cache in LightWave bakes it like to the model itself, and this is something that I thought was really neat because I wasn't expecting it. So let me just add Suzanne here. Now she's getting, the change in lighting. See, she's getting the bounce light on her face, the red.
Right.
So
Right.
It's not baking it to the models like the way LightWave does. It's kind of baking it in this volume. So the settings are here. Now the thing is,
so this volume is like an effects volume.
Exactly. Now the
That'll
thing
work.
is, if I was to animate this red ball, I don't know if you can see that, but the floor
Yes.
isn't changing dynamically. The lighting is kind of fixed until you move, when you move this ball around, it's
Actually, nothing's changing dynamically.
right.
There's no-
This isn't changing. So that's the
nothing's
limitation, is you can't animate the objects moving around.
So if you want to see the changes, what do you have to do? Recache it again?
There might be an add-on to do this dynamically, And I don't know, I'm not using the latest version of Blender to know if they made a change in Eevee. I don't think they did for the radiance volume. I think it's still the same. But I think an add-on might exist that allows you to animate the scene. Because in LightWave,
real time.
yeah, in LightWave, when you cache the GI, there's also an animated cache setting, which I liked. You could have moving objects, and it would animate like every, I don't know, 10th frame, and then interpolate between that. It wasn't perfect, but it did have a function for, animating that bounce cache.
Right.
So this is the only limitation with this known version, and I think there might be a add-on for Eevee to allow an animated cache, a per frame change.
Well, if you find it, definitely share with us.
Yeah, I haven't really needed it yet, so I haven't looked for it, but I think there is something out there. Yeah, and also if you have, I use an add-on called Easy HDRI, which I kind of love. It gives me my library of HDRs.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that is nice. Is that a paid plugin or a free one?
No, it's a freebie. If you look up,
a freebie? Let me look it up now.
Yeah, it's probably on Blender Market because I think that's where I get everything.
All right, Easy HDRI.
And it's kind of the same thing. Like if I was to click
on Gumroad.
Okay, yep.
All right, so let me actually put this in the chat box for our audience. And Easy HDRI. So that will be nice. So it keeps that library there forever.
Yeah. And it's just a folder that it's pointing to with all my HDRs. So if I add new things to the folder, it just keeps, scrolling and showing me more stuff. And also it gives you some settings for, rotating the HDR around.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I kind of love this because
that's nice. I think I'm definitely downloading that right now.
Yeah, if you have the shading tab, normally your shading tab shows you your object shaders, but if you switch over to the world shader, it sets up all this for you. It gives you a coordinates node, a mapping node, all this stuff, which basically allows me to rotate the object, with a slider and
right,
stuff like that. So it's setting up a lot in the background, which is kind of neat because also you can set this if your object has like a sunlight. Actually, let me let's see, where is this? All right, let's say I picked this one because it actually has a sun visible in it. Not only can you rotate this around, but you can set the sky strength and the sun strength a little bit. Now these might work a little differently in cycles. The performance might feel a little bit different. Because sometimes I like to add an actual light in the scene to cast shadows. And I'll just want the sun, the sky strength from the HDR to be a little bit less because I'm combining a light inside of Blender with the lighting coming from this global illumination image. So, and there's some settings for, changing the gamma of your background image, all this stuff you can kind of fiddle with.
Right.
And what's neat too about this irradiance map is it'll bake this global illumination coming from the image, right? Because right now in Blender, this kind of looks pretty bad. Generally it has the fill lighting from this image, but it looks pretty bad. There's some things I can do. I've turned on ambient occlusion. There's only so much you can do, but the only way to get this to really look better is to use the where am I? Is to bake that indirect lighting. Again, I have my settings pretty low, so it might not look so great, but so yeah, so that's the irradiance volume, which is good for, static scenes pretty much. So it's probably really good for architectural walkthrough animations or just anything where you're not needing to animate the stuff moving around. So or screen space reflections is always something you want on in Eevee.
I just downloaded and installed Easy HDRI. Very nice.
Yeah, and I have several folders that it's pointing to. Some have images that look, a lot of times I like to blur out my HDRI images for lighting purposes.
Yeah.
So I'll have a folder that's pretty much the blurred stuff,
yeah, I've been throwing all of my HDRIs into a single folder.
Yeah. Yeah, however you like to,
Yeah.
No rules.
So, but I noticed that yours was able to the thumbnail outwards, and mine seemed to be restricted to a single image that I'm cycling through.
You're not seeing a whole.
Yeah, and for some reason it's restricting it to one image. Maybe there's an option I need to choose.
Yeah, it's been like a couple of years since I've had this installed. I don't remember. Now I have something called load dynamically checked in the little, your settings button here.
Okay, the settings button. Let me see. Is that it's the settings. Yeah, that's automatically checked.
Okay.
So remove. Okay. Yeah, again, load dynamically check, and then unchecked is clean up dynamically, set project dynamically.
Yeah.
Search in subfolders and all rotation accesses. I don't see anything that's giving me a thumbnail view. I get a single thumbnail as opposed to actually. How are you getting multiple thumbnails? Yours is looking. Okay, what are you clicking on?
I'm clicking on
you're clicking on the image. Oh, you didn't say that.
Oh,
here we go. Yeah, you never said any of that. So
sorry.
There we go. Now it works.
Yeah.
So I can go through. We got to click on the thumbnail to see all your images.
Yeah, and if you have more than are displayed, then just hover your mouse toward the bottom, and it will kind of scroll for you.
And I'm scrolling with the scroll wheel, and it kind of scrolls down the bottom. There they all are.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Love this.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I have libraries of stuff I've bought over the years, different reflection map things. You can. This start icon is, you can set favorites basically, I guess.
Right.
Favorite folders, or you can just click on it and select the folder that you want with your stuff.
And to be honest, this is something that should be natively built into Blender.
Yeah.
It really should be just part of Blender natively. So I don't.
Yeah.
Then I'm sure they'll get around to it one day.
Yeah. No, it was like in LightWave. When someone makes a plugin, you're like, oh, this should just be part of it. But eventually it is.
Yeah, of course.
When I use LightWave, I think around the year 2000, there was this plugin called F Prime.
Yeah.
Which eventually LightWave basically stole it. It became the VPR. But it was a plugin for years. I was using it for years, and the Maya guys would come over to me and they're like, "How are you doing that in real time? Like this real time rendering thing?" Now everybody does it, but Blender's doing it too with cycles. But it was, LightWave was the only one doing that back then. It was new. So yeah, it's eventually I think things get popular enough and then they put it in. You know?
There's another one you might like also. It's called Synchronized Workspaces. Actually, I'll share this. This is all on we have an official Discord, by the way. I didn't know if I shared that with you since you've been on. And on our Discord, we've got a section on here called, it is called plugins, Blender plugins. And I post all the cool plugins that I might find or one of my students might find, and they're all listed. So I just posted this one on there. And if anybody wants to join that Discord, it's free, of course. I'm going to go ahead and put the invite link right now into the chat box.
All right, cool.
Discord invite. There we go. Let's come on and say hello. Peruse around the channel, and there's a lot of different rooms I've set up. Yeah, I like that one. I'll use that one a lot.
Cool. Yeah, it is. It's pretty neat. That's pretty much what I had to show this time.
Right.
Maybe I'll save what I have for next time for stereoscopic workflow, because I do a lot of 3D stereoscopic stuff. So I could show that one next time.
All right. That sounds great. So that was wonderful. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem.
All right. So let's see. Carm is still here. And Carm, you want to share your screen? I'll stop sharing his screen. I think he stopped sharing his screen already.
Can you hear me okay?
Barely. Your voice sounds low or muffled.
Hmm.
You usually come through strong and vibrant.
Everything's turned up.
All right. I mean, I can hear your voice, but you sound very muffled. And I know
you're not seeing anything. I see a black screen right now.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't shared his screen yet.
Yeah, I was just messing my audio.
Here, I'll share my screen while he's getting organized.
Is this better?
No, it's still the same.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we can hear you, but you're very muffled.
Darn it.
I don't know what microphone you normally use.
I'm using the same. Oh, wait a second. How about this? Is this better?
It's still
I
the
can
same.
hear.
I mean, we can hear you. It's just you just sound muffled.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Well,
to me, it sounds clear.
Does it sound clear to you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Kevin says it sounds all right. So
I think it's pretty much the same as I usually use.
All right. It's been a while since you've been on here, so it could be my memory. It could be my memory.
All right. Well, I'll share my screen then.
All right. You got it. All right. I will stop sharing my screen. And I'm still waiting for your screen, by the way.
Just a second. There you go.
Right. Something's coming up. There we go. I'll stop sharing mine. And I will share yours. There you go.
All right.
You are live. So we'll go about 15 minutes to a 15-minute break, and then you can finish up with whatever you want to finish up. We'll come back after break.
Well, at the moment, I'm doing some hard surface modeling.
Okay.
I'll show you an older render here. These are these are walls on the side of my game. I'm making like a Tetris style game.
Okay.
And
By the way,
These,
how is your game going? I mean, it's been a while. You showed us a game a while back. I think you were going to go to market with it, and then we never heard anything since then.
yeah, I haven't heard anything either. I'm kidding. Uh, it has not sold well at all.
Okay.
So I'm working on game number 2. Here's another image of the Tetris style pieces. You can see I have like a meta ball effect on them because they're
Yes.
like curved like that. And right now I'm making a hinge on the wall structure. Let's see. This is the wall structure. I'm making a hinge on it because these are going to rotate right here. This is going to, let's see, rotate. It's going to go, oh, not like that. Pivot. There we go. It's going to hinge up like that, opening up. And I'm going to probably have another hinge right here so this can like fold. And there's going to be a turret that pops up out of this hole here,
Ah,
out of this
cool.
compartment. But let me, show you the actual game.
Okay.
Let me just set this back to the main screen. What was that? All right. Compile that. Unfortunately, you're not going to hear any audio. Seems to be going really slow. There it goes. Okay, so that's French right now. I have it set to the French language. I guess I could turn English on. Let me put on English because we're all English here, right? Cheerio. So you can see I'm coding it right now with initially with 4 languages. One quirk of my language I'm using is it never does any screen grabbing unless I go in windowed mode. That's why you see the title bar at the top there. Press a button that makes sense here. Okay. I'll try a space bar. Do you remember this part? Have I shown you this before? Steven? Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Huh. Maybe you went to go get a drink or something.
Oh, sorry about that. I had to run to the restroom.
Oh, okay.
What did you need?
I just wanted to ask if I'd show you this already.
Oh no. Go ahead and
Oh,
share. Just share. Just take it.
okay. Well, this is the main menu.
All right.
Let me back up because you just missed something really cool. If you don't mind, I'll start it again.
All right, Dave. I'll call you back.
All right. Yeah. I don't want you to miss that. Oh, cool opening. Windowed. Yeah, I was saying earlier, the screen grabbing only works when it's in windowed mode. That's why you see the title bar there. So there's the logo assembled.
Nice.
And then it says, this is where you press a button. That
Yeah.
message is randomly chosen. It says different little things there. So I'm going to hit the space bar. And now here we are in the main menu. And see the little things on the left and right, they're going to, when I move around the menu, they're going to follow me around.
Right.
These were
Nice.
rendered in LightWave. And right now, the only thing that does anything is exit and play. Oh, there's one other thing that does something, a little secret thing. If I go to the right and then press the button, it turns the light off. And so now I'll hit play. And now we're on the level select screen. This is what happens when levels are unlocked. And now it's got the little thing that pops up when there's something to read. This is all temporary text here. And if I move away, the thing slides away. And oh, by the way, the little blue tabs that are kind of rotating when I move from thing to thing, that is a is that an alarm or something?
No, it's a spam caller.
Oh,
And I thought I turned off the sound on the phone, and I didn't.
so these level tags that come forward whenever I highlight them, those are pre-rendered in LightWave. But the Easter Island image on top of them is all in engine. It's all generated by the video game, and eventually I'll have different ones for the different levels. But it's just like a placeholder graphic.
Very cool.
But what I did is I went into LightWave frame by frame and got the angle values so that I could have the sprite rotation match the pre-rendered animation exactly, which is pretty neat. And I can go back. If I hit this, it'll go back to the main menu. But I'm just going to go in here and go to the game. Oh, by the way, on the thing that pops up, it says finish level. There's this black star there. Every level there's another one there's one with 3 options. You know, it gives you like different number of stars if you perform better. And then in the lower right hand corner, there will be a checklist of up to 3 different things you can accomplish for that particular level. And so you can see how the blue tag up top has 2 holes in it. The wider hole is for displaying 1, 2, or 3 stars. And then on the right, the smaller hole is if you complete all the things in the checklist, it'll show a gem, a red gem, like a ruby or something. So let's go to the game itself. It doesn't show much yet. All it does is shows the pieces. But there, this is all it does so far. And then it's going to kill itself in a second.
It's almost like an abstract Tetris.
It is kind of Tetris-y. It's supposed to die. Maybe I had it set for a longer time. There it goes. All right. So let me pull up something else, a paint program. Okay. In here, it's a very, very low resolution image, but this is the level pieces that start how the level starts out. So if I paint something here, I'll say, hi. I don't know if, yeah. And I'll save this. and I go into this sister program that takes that image data and converts it to level codes. So let me run that. Okay, that's done. Now I go back in here. And I'm going to hit the escape key to skip all that. And we'll go into the level. Hi. So you can see it's taking the pixels and placing blocks wherever there were pixels. And what I'm modeling right now will be the two walls on either side of the blocks. You know, because the Tetris game always has it's always in like in a well, and there's two walls on either side. But in my game, some of the blocks, whenever I paint the specific pixel for it, this will open up and a turret will pop out. And what's going to happen is when you're playing Tetris, my game is not straight up Tetris. When you clear a line, it will then grant you a bomb that dangles from a 2D physics rope. And then you can drop the bomb, and your goal is to blast your way all the way to the bottom of the well and destroy the object at the bottom of the well. And so it's in the harder levels, these things will open up and there'll be a turret here that'll shoot your bomb. So you have to deal with these before you can get your bomb to the bottom. Make sense? And that's it. I mean, so like if I painted red, I could put red on the sides here and then it will draw turrets wherever I draw red pixels on the sides. And then there will be, I could draw different colored blocks in here to generate things other than the glass you saw, the orange glass. Although those can change color. They will change colors. I guess I could show you that. Let's see. Here it is. So if I say 255, $255, 170, 0. Now it's going to be a different color. And during the game, they will, fade to different colors. Like when you go up to another level, like a speed level, it'll change colors. Let's skip that. See, now they're blue. And the reason why it's able to do that is because these are three different sprites. And the program can tell the sprites to draw different colors. So you can tell it to recolor it as it draws it. But there's a low, medium, and high intensity of these three different sprites. And the base color will be blue, and then this one is sky blue, and this is white. This will always be white. And this is called cheap color. If somebody has a slower machine and only wants to draw one layer of sprites instead of three, I could pick like a medium between the two colors to choose the best possible look for a cheaper quality drawing. And I guess that's all there is to show the game right now. So it's probably a good time for your break, right?
Yeah, just about that time. Are you all done? Is there anything else you wanted to share?
As related to the game, I think that's all I have to show you. I mean, I could talk more about what I have planned for it, but it's all just in my head.
All right. Oh, okay, ma'am. I've got plenty of stuff to share too, so
Okay.
it's no big deal. So yeah, so just pull something together for next week too. We'd love to see more of this.
Oh
It's
yeah,
great.
it's evolving quickly. I'm
This is
sure
great.
I'm sure it'll be playable at some level by next week.
Okay.
I'll say this: the you know how I said that when you clear a line, a Tetris line, you get a bomb. If you clear two lines, you get a bomb plus bonus points.
Yeah.
If you clear three lines, you get an ice bomb, and if you clear four lines, you get a chemical bomb. And so, like if you get hardened concrete, there's like concrete and there's hardened concrete, and the only thing that can destroy the hardened concrete is to douse it with a chemical bomb first. That weakens it. Then you can blow it up with a normal bomb. Anyway, that's the plan.
Okay. Nice. Thank you.
So it's going to be very sandbox like the way you approach it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Carmen. That's great. Now, I always love to see the progress on the game stuff. So we had a couple of talents here. One in gaming, and another one in commercial applications of Blender from Kevin. Um, and
Here,
this is
stop
good.
sharing my screen.
Yeah, you can stop sharing your screen. I'll remove your screen from the chat box from the box, and I will add mine here. We're going to go to our 15-minute timer, and okay, now we've got a commercial coming through before that shows my timer now, which is annoying as hell. Oh God! All right, so how do we? So YouTube is changing their. Thank you.
Oh, that's different.
Difference. I want to stop that. Now they're making you watch all these commercials now before you go to the 15-minute timer. So annoying. All right, cool. So that timer break, bathroom break, snack break, stretch your legs, kind of get stuff away from the computer. We'll come back. I've got some pretty cool stuff coming up. I am going to probably show you something like this.
Oh, fun.
Um, we're going to do, you can see the pegs up here.
You could play pachinko.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to build this before your eyes, and we're going to be playing around with rigid bodies. This will be all a rigid body tutorial. It'll be kind of fun to play with.
I mean, those
So,
balls will be able to fall in real time.
what was that?
Do you mean those balls will be able to fall in real time?
Yep.
It's amazing what we can do these days.
Yes, exactly. All right, let's go 15-minute break. We'll all come right back, and I will mute my mic temporarily, and I'll be right back. It is just about that time.
I feel like those ads added time to that countdown.
Yeah.
It just pauses the countdown when the ad comes on.
Well, I didn't start it until the ads went away. I mean,
No, there were several breaks during it.
oh, there was. I didn't
Yeah.
see it. I was, oh, shucks. All right. In that case, stop the damn thing. Yeah, YouTube changed something on here because it used to be we can go through it without any interruption at all.
Yeah.
And now we're getting these damn interruptions.
Yep. They want you to buy the ad-free version.
It's never enough money.
Nope.
How much is the ad-free version?
You know, I don't know. I've never looked into that.
LightWave Digital went over new LightWave 2025 features. Okay, thanks for posting that, Carm. So those of us who are Wave enthusiasts, there you go. Information Carm just posted. It's all in the chat box.
I'll post another one where it's just the animation contest winners too. It's a shorter video.
Okay. Okay, and Carm also post. Would you post this stream, and I'll post the direct link in the chat box over to the Discord section of LightWave, real quick.
Are you talking about? Let's see.
What? Yeah, the Discord section, or if you got that handy, if you could do that, it's that there. That's the live stream here.
LightWave user group one.
Yeah, that's right. LightWave user group. Okay. All right. We are back. All right. So we're going to build this thing. All right. So I don't know. I don't. Using rigid bodies. I always forget the name of this process. I don't know why it is. Something in my brain just does not want to remember it. Rigid bodies. We're going to have some fun with this. I saw this little thing online. I was looking at a YouTube short that had something similar to this, and I thought, you know what, I can do that. That'll be fun for today's broadcast. So let's have at it. I will save this, by the way, Control S, and I will start a brand new file. Go to General. There. Okay. All right. Let's get a box. We'll start with a box or cube, so to speak. And then we're also going to bring in a plane. So Control A, Shift A, mesh plane. Pull that on out wider. There we go. Control A, and I'm going to apply my rotation and scale there. Let's go to my front view, just kind of bring that up right above that plane, like so. Not that it's going to matter so much. And then let's go inside. In fact, here, we'll just do it this way. We'll just, yes, we can do it from inside. We'll go from inside, go inside the edit mode here. And we'll go to my scale. We'll kind of, elongate it like so. Grab the top, shift space bar, hit my move tool option, bring it up like this. I think I'll bring out that front face a little more. Give it a little more thickness in this one. Okay. And I'm going to do is I'm going to take that front face out. That's going to be the glass. So hit the P key, selection. That saved out that front face as a separate selection. And we can see that here in a 3D outliner, layer outliner. So I'm going to rename this one the box. Okay. And I'm going to rename this one the glass. Okay. And then let's save this file. So save as. And I'm going to call this one Rigid Bodies Twitch, which means the one that I did with you guys. Okay. I'm going to say that there. All right, cool. All right, so we've got the glass here. We've got the box here. Let's thicken up the glass. Okay. In fact, let's thicken the box first. I think it'll be easier. Let me turn off the glass real quick. Select the box itself. Let's add a modifier to this to help us very quickly. Generate, solidify. All right, so solidify is a very handy little tool, especially in doing 3D modeling stuff that I do for clients. When I need to thicken the body, and I can also come here and say even thickness all the way around. There we go. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is I need to apply this, all right? Because the way rigid body works is it works with actual real geometry. With that, with that modifier, that is not real geometry. The modifier is creating a thickness, but this is real geometry. Once I apply it and I go into edit mode, I've got real geometry in here for the rigid dynamics to interact with. So rigid dynamics is interacting with the actual surfaces of your 3D objects. Okay. I'm going to do something else because I noticed that when I played around with this earlier, some of the little balls that I'm going to put inside were actually falling out. And maybe because I don't have enough subdivisions in here. And I'm going to have to go back because I forgot to do something real quick. I'm going to go back. There's my solidify modifier. So if I turn that off, I go back to the surface. Then go back inside edit mode and grab that surface and delete that. So X key, delete that face. Okay. So the balls are going to be falling through the top. Now I can go back and add on a solidify surface here. And then apply it so that we have real geometry for it to work with. So we got object mode to do so.
Hey, Stephen?
Yes, sir.
I think, I mean, I don't do rigid bodies in Blender, but I think there might be an option to use like a primitive shape instead of using your geometry as the collider. If that has that option, it will.
Well, yeah. Oh, it does. It does. But I'm going to show that in a little bit.
Okay.
You're right. They're called. Well, I'll show it to you. When we get to it, I know exactly what you're talking about. They're colliders, and you can use primitive shapes to collide with this. But that's not what we want to do in this particular tutorial. You'll see why in just a little bit. Okay. Because I want the balls to interact with the exact surface that I'm going to put in here.
Well, you could put them on the backing of that box and the sides, and then use the geometry for the internal stuff that spins around.
Right, and I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about colliders. Just bear with me here. So just sit tight, bear with me, watch me, and you'll see why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, so we got the box. Now what I want to do next is add in, I've got the, let's go ahead and go to the ground first. And I'll come up here and select it this way, the plane. I'm gonna call this one ground. All right, and we're gonna add, go to my objects menu, rigid body, and we're gonna add it as a passive. Passive means it does not animate, it doesn't move. All right, okay, or it's not gonna move. It's gonna be a rigid body, but it's not gonna move from where it sits now. The same thing is going to be done with the actual box. So I will go to my objects, rigid body, and also apply that as a passive as well. And if I want to test this out, I'll go ahead and make one of my little balls here, and or a sphere, so to speak. So Shift A, mesh, go to my UV sphere. And I think I'll give this one 32 is what you get by default. I'm going to make it 16 to save on memory. And if we get in close, that's it right there. And let me see if that's about the size. That's too big. So I'm going to go, let's bring it on up to the top. And let's make it smaller. So S key, bring it down something like that. That'll work. Okay, Command A or Control A is what I want to say. Rotation and scale, and let's give that a rigid body. So give that a rigid body. Except this one won't be passive; it's going to be active. So it'll be a rigid body, but it's going to actually drop and respond to gravity. Okay, now I'm going to get to the part that Carm was talking about, and that. If we go to the rigid body settings, which is this little, looks like a little orbiting circle around a little blue dot here. If we come down to the bottom, we have our collisions, and you can set up collisions on your model. And they've got several primitives, boxes, spheres, capsules, blender. This is the thing about Blender. You got to learn Blender the Blender way, not the LightWave way, not the Maya way. And that's why I hear from a lot of everybody, well, my LightWave doesn't know, no, Blender way, not the LightWave way. It's a whole nother animal. It's a whole nother engine. So convex hull, I think, is by default, which basically puts a force field mesh all the way around my entire object. So if I hit the space bar, let's see, well, let me go to my layout here. You see stopping right there, because by default, convex layout means the force field or the force field object or the collision object is a invisible object that surrounds my entire shape. What I'm going to do instead, I'm going to hit Shift left arrow. What I'm going to do instead is going back to my rigid body. I got to go back to my box. Is instead of convex hull, I'm going to use the exact shape because it's only a box. There's not a lot of surfaces to interact with, so it's not going to draw on my memory much. So I'm going to use the exact shape, which means exactly as you see it, those are going to be the collision surfaces. So drop it down and go to mesh. So it uses every surface of that mesh as the object for that ball to actually interact with. So now when I hit the space bar, it drops right on through and hits the bottom. And there it hits the bottom. As we can see here, it's interacting just fine. So that's good. That's a good thing. It's 100. I'm going to go to 200 frames. Go to my view marker and frame scene range to 200. So if I go back to the beginning and then let it cache, which is what it's doing. Once it's cached, it'll react normally. The box itself, I've got some cushion, like friction. I got 0.5. I don't think it's reacting with the surface of the box except for the bottom just yet. So I'm gonna take that friction down to 0.1, and you just gotta play with this. I mean, I don't know what these settings should be at first. I'm gonna guess at first depending on the type of animation that I want. So if I hit Shift Spacebar, go back to the beginning. There we go. And I might even want to add a little bit of bounciness to it, possibly. Let me go back to my box. And bounciness, I got 0 for bounciness. Maybe we'll do 0.2. Let me see what it looks like. Okay, it's going to come down and drop down. There we go. We got a little bit of bounciness going. And let me give it a little more. How about 0.4? Let's see what that looks like. There it goes, jumping down. There we go. Okay, that works fine. All right. Okay, so now let's put in our little pegs in here that it's going to interact with. So that's pretty simple. We're going to kind of bring in here a Shift-A mesh cylinder. And let's bring this on up to the top here. It's going to go right about there. Let's rotate this. So RX90. I want to scale this only on the X and the Z axis and not on the Y. Well, I'll tell you what, before I even do that, let me just go ahead and apply rotation and change. So Control A. Now look at your axes here. So I'm going to go Control A, rotation and scale. All right. So I want to, looking at the axes here, I don't want to affect the Y axis, but I do want to affect the X and the Z axis. So I'm going to hit the S for scale, which affects everything. And then Shift Y, which won't affect Y, and I can make it small like this. So let's take a look at where, let me bring this back to the beginning. There we go. Look at my ball. I think that'll work okay. For the ball, give it something. Maybe I'll do it again. So a scale, Shift Y, just bring it up a little bit more like that. Okay, that works. Now Control A, rotation and scale, apply that scale. Let's go edit this and just bring it out a little bit. So we want it to be up against the glass. And we didn't forget about the glass. Let's go ahead and turn the glass back on. I accidentally went to wireframe mode. And let's give the glass some thickness. So with the glass selected, let's give it a modifier real quick. And give it the solidify. And give it something like that. Okay, that's going to help. Now, apply it. Okay, and then what we need to do is give that, go to Object, go to our rigid body, and give that a passive as well, because that's not going to move either, right? So everything is together. And if I want to, I can parent the glass and the pegs to the box. We'll deal with that in a little bit. I'm going to use my peg. I'm going to bring it out so it touches the glass. So select the peg, edit. I'm going to go to X-ray mode, face editing view. Just grab that top face, move tool, go to the top view like so. That might help a little bit. And just bring it up. That should be enough right about there. Okay. All right, I think that'll work just fine. And just so the back end isn't looking like it's sticking out of the back of the board, I'll just go to the top view here and just push that in a little bit like that. There we go. How does that look? All right, so we go here, object mode. We're all done. So just to double check, Control A, rotation and scale. Let's add a modifier to this. So I'm going to pull this right over here, just to the side. I think I'm going to need to make the box and the glass taller a little bit. So I'm going to add a whole bunch of these little marbles in there. I'm going to select that, and we're going to call that one marbles, because it's going to be multiples of them. And let's grab this backside here. Let's grab the box, and let's grab the glass. Oops, let's do this. Grab the box, and then I'm going to control click the glass there. Tab edit mode, and just grab the top face for both of them. So yes, I can edit two independent objects in edit mode. I'm just going to bring this up a little extra, give a little extra space for the marbles to fit inside. That's it. That's all I wanted to do. That is handy for 3D printing. Let's see, I'm looking at the comments here. Yeah, the guy said, oh, animation contest winners are not in separate shorter videos. Okay. That was comments you were making. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that is, let me get in close here and see what I've got. Now I'm ready to make my spheres. Not just yet. Let me make my post first. I'm going to go ahead and just turn off the glass temporarily. Let's go back to my post. Let's add a modifier, generate array. I don't know how many I actually need. I'm going to just eye it, right? So I put in 4 for now, and well, it's supposed to be 4. And I'm going to come down. The count is 4. I'm going to come down to the factor, which is X, the direction I'm going to array it on, and say something. Yeah, I think that's good enough. I think we'll go with just a 4. Can I get away with? Nah, I need 4. I think 4 would be fine. Let's see if I do 5, just out of curiosity, and then adjust this. See, can it fit through there? Yeah, it looks like it can fit through there. Okay, we can always test it out, right? So again, you have to have real geometry. Now, before I do anything, let me make my other set of pegs. So I'm going to duplicate this one. So Shift D, and then hit the Z key to restrict the axis going down. So I'm going to do a set right down here. And then I'm going to just move this on over like so. And bring that up like that. And then I'm going to take this down to 4. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to do another array on this top one real quick. I'm going to come up to my cylinder. So the first cylinder, I want to do an array going on the Z-axis only. So let's add another modifier, another array, restrict that array by default. So on the X, we're going to just make that 0, go to the 1 here, and now we're going on the Z-axis. I want it going the opposite way, so bring it down and take it to right about there. So let's go to front-facing view so we can see what we're doing. And I'm using the Shift key while I drag this to kind of line it up. Okay, this is good. Then I'm going to go do the same thing here. So I'm going to take this one, add another modifier, an array, And this one as well, we want to go, factor is not going to be X, but instead it's going to be Z. Make sure the X is 0. There we go. What did I just do? This. Oh, I did something weird. Did I hit the wrong thing? Oh, I know what I did. Okay. I hit the wrong one. All right, so I hit the wrong one. Go get out of that one. That's the one I want down here. 0 on the X, 1 on the Z. There we go. Pull that on downwards. Go to my front orthographic view. Take a look at this. I'm just eyeing it. There we go. Okay, that works. So those are going to be my pegs. So the ball is going to interact with that. Now, we got to have real geometry. So what I need to do is I need to apply all of these. So apply that one, is done. Select the second one, apply that, it's done. Now select both of them together, and I'm going to merge them into one single layer. So right now they're two separate objects, cylinder and cylinder 0.001. Command or Control J, merge them into a single. I'm gonna call this one peg. All right, and if you turn it off and on, that's one single object now. Now we're going to give this a dynamics as well. So object, rigid body dynamics, and we're going to add passive because that too is not going to move. Okay, cool. All right, so we want to test this out. Let's hit the space bar. Boom. Interesting. It's stuck there. Now it's rolling off to the side. Now it's trying to go up there. It needs some bounciness to that, doesn't it? So let's add some stop. Thank you. Let's add some bounce. Go to my dynamics property, that little orbiting circle. Passive, but here's the problem too. It's stuck there. Why? Because my collision was a convex hull. That's not what we want. Drop it down. We want the exact mesh, every single surface. Okay, now let's give it a try. Play it. Boom. Boing, 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 boing. Cool. All right, it works. So we're happy. It works. We know it works. So we might want to give a little more bounciness to that. Let's do like 0.3 on this. The shift and space bar. There we go. Kind of like acts like a pinball machine a little bit. The ball itself, we can probably add some bounciness to, if I remember correctly. Let me go to the sphere and see what I've got for that. So friction and bounciness here. So the sphere itself, I'm just going to guess. Let's do 0.3. I'm just going to guess it.
If the shape for the sphere collision is set to, I think there's a sphere option. Is that
right there? It's convex hull. So I want it to be what? I want it to be sphere.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's like LightWave, where it basically does a quicker calculation.
That's any 3D program, including Unreal Engine. That's exactly the way Unreal Engine works. If I go back, let's do this. So shift space bar to the back. Okay, now let's play. Boom, boom. There we go. That's feeling better. Yeah, you have any ideas? Let me know. Just kind of shout it out.
If you don't want it to seem like slow motion, you could set the speed setting in the rigid body world master settings. I always
Yeah,
find
well,
that simulations are too slow.
I was going to do a different tutorial on that one because, in fact, that was the first tutorial I was going to do today. I was going to do an explosion and then animate the speed. So you can do slow-mo explosions and then really fast explosions, then really slow-mo explosions, all in one scene. But I decided to do this first. Maybe we'll do that one next week or something.
Mm.
But yeah, you're right. You're totally right. And that's in your scene settings, by the way.
Yeah.
For those things. But we'll cover that. I'm looking at the way it's bouncing. I'm just going to kind of observe it. It needs a little more bounce. This needs a little more bounce. Let's double it. Let's go 6.6. Oh, and the friction, that's probably slowing it down too. So if I take that down to 0.3, all right, and we'll go back. So shift there. Let's see what happens. Boom. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah. You really got to play with this stuff. And there's a lot can be said for just experience with this. Just go in there and play with it and get frustrated and then solve your frustrations and understand the program. All right, so I've got I got 1 kilogram. Let's see if we up the weight on the ball up to, let's see, 1.5. Let's see what happens. Boom, boom, boom. Oh yeah, that's better. Yeah, I'm liking that better. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it looks good.
Looks good? Okay. So basically, Kevin's the client now, so I've got to make him happy.
I was the client. I'd say, start over. Let's start over.
That's,
This is great, but let's do another option.
Let's do squares. Let's do cubes. Yeah, that's fun. Well, what about this? Okay, so now what's nice is this is working great. Now let's do the balls. Let's do the spheres. We need a whole bunch of spheres. So, all right, let's oh, I guess we can do those now. Why not? Because we need to do the little spinning things down here too, but we'll do these first. Go to my move tool, bring that on up to here. It's gonna be I'm gonna make a lot of these things actually. All right, I'm gonna use my good old modifier to help me out from the very beginning to do the job for me. There it is, and let's go 1, 2. Let's do a bunch of those like that. I can just put them right next to each other. We'll go 8. We'll go 8. All right, put another modifier on top of that. And we want to go on the z-axis as opposed to the x-axis. And I'm going to get the opposite direction here. Give it a little space. It really helps to give it a little bit of space in there. Let me go to this one, give it a little space in between them like that. Yeah. That helps. All right, so go down to the second array. Is that enough? I think that's enough. Should I do more? I can do another row. Think I should do another row? We can do another row, right? So add another modifier. We want to do it on the y-axis this time. Generate array. And this time, not on the x as it does by default. We want on the y-axis. And we want it in the opposite direction, the -1. So I'm going to give it a little space in there so we can see from the top view. There we go. Okay, I think that's enough. because we're going to start running into the glass. Okay. All right, there's our spheres. Now here's the trick. You got to apply these babies. So it's one ball. If I turn these all off, it's just one ball. That geometry does not exist. And that one ball has the proper, rigid body dynamics applied to it. So we'll turn them all on and we'll come up here and just go apply. Boom. Done. If we come up here to the sphere, the marbles, there's the marble. This is all in one object, right? All one object. I can't use one object. Every single one of these have got to be their own individual object. So tab key, go to edit mode. Face editing mode is selected, the 3 key in the keyboard, then the A key to make sure I select them all. And then all I'm going to do is hit the P key for parts and say, take them all out by loose parts. And there they all are. Look, all individual marbles. Now I need to be organized. So critical in any 3D program. I want all these in one group. So hit the M key. Come over here to this section to the right. Hit the M key for man, or to move to a new collection. And we're going to call this one marbles. And there they all are. There are all my marbles in that one collection. So they're all nice and organized. Now they all should still have the same properties, the same, rigid body properties. We're going to test it out now. All right, let's see if this works. Okay.
I think I know what's wrong.
All right, talk to me.
I've had this happen.
I think it's because it reapplied the collision.
No, it's the pivot points are not in the center of each ball.
Yeah. He knows. He's right. Okay.
You have to do it in the other menu, I find.
You can do it right here. You can go to right click on the marbles, select all the objects, and then right click, set origin to geometry. Done.
Yeah.
Now it's done. Now let's give it a try. Let's give it a try now.
This should work.
This will hopefully. All right, here we go. Yeah, that's important. You've got to reset your origin every time you apply those modifiers, or else you're going to have problems. Boom, boom. He's right. It worked. Yeah, it worked really well, actually. Nothing's flying outside the walls. Yeah, nice. Really nice. It's coming through. Okay, it's 200. Let's go 250. Go 250. I think that is what this is caching it up to anyway. View.
Or you can just speed up the simulation.
No. That's too easy.
But it's fewer frames to render.
No, just wait. We're not done yet. Okay, go there. That's nice. I'm liking this so far. Boom. There's the balls. They're bouncing down. They're piling up at the bottom because there's glass in the front, right? We haven't textured it yet. We're gonna do the texturing too. We're gonna make this look nice. So all the balling, boom. So if you're gonna have like cereal, I had a student in my Blender class up at Studio Arts. I'm the lead Blender instructor up there, and he had a project from a client, and he wanted to do cereal, and he poured the milk into the cereal. He wanted the cereal to puff up and expand, and he was using particles to do it. And the particles won't work with this very well because the simulation is interacting with the particle and not the actual shape of the sphere. So I had to show him how to use this in rigid body dynamics, where every surface of the objects are all interactive. Okay, so let's add another little collision object in there. That'll be kind of fun. This will be quick and easy. So let's stop it. Let's go to the beginning. Let's save this. Actually, I'm happier with this one than the one I had originally did. Enable to find. All right, I don't know what that's all about. So Control S is what I did. Okay, just save that. Take a sip of my smoothie. I had a frustrating experience during break. I always make my smoothie during break and got all my mix in the bowl and had the frozen fruit bags in my hand and turned around and the tip of the bag accidentally hit the on button on the blender and everything went everywhere. I know I get no sympathy for that. All right, so let's parent everything to the object. So select this, and then we need to select the glass too. Actually, we'll just do this right now. Select the base and the Control P and keep transform, and then I'll do the same thing with the glass. Let me kind of cascade that up here. There's my glass. There's turn it on. Select the glass. Select the glass. That's the ground. Select the glass. Control click the ground. Not the ground, sorry. Let's turn that off so I don't do that again. Glass, control click the box. Control P and parent. So all that's parented together. We'll texture this in just a minute. So let's do one little thing. Let me go ahead and turn off the glass. Let's go to the box. There's the glass. Turn it off temporarily. Okay, let's bring in another little object. So how about Control A? We're going to go here to a cylinder. And I want the cylinder this time to have only 8 sides. Okay. Done. I want to take the cylinder and I want to rotate it on the X axis. So R, X, 90. Let's bring this downward. That's going to be down here. It's going to be like a little rotating thing for the balls to interact with. I'm going to go to the side view, X-ray view. Yeah, that's cool. All right. Front face, bring that on out like so. This is fine. Then I'm going to go grab all these faces on the side. I'm just double clicking that edge between those adjoining faces to get a face loop. I'm going to hit the I key for inset. Hit the I key again to inset each individual. Do something like that. And then let's get that out of the way. Then what we'll do, we'll go to the front face. We'll hit the Alt E for extrude along normals. I think that'll work. Okay. Now I may want to taper that edge of the tips a little bit. I don't know, I'll leave them where they are. Well, I could do it this way. I could just hit the B for bevel. Actually, that's not working very well. Okay, let's see what's going on. So, right, we'll keep it there for now. Let me go over here to object mode. Go to my front face and push this on over a little bit. Okay. Command A, rotation and scale. Make sure that's applied. Let's see if I can rotate this on the y-axis. So I'm gonna come over here to hit the N key for that left side vertical menu. I'm gonna go to the top here, very, 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 very top, to the item tab. And I'm gonna go to the rotation option. I wanna rotate on the Y, and I'm gonna put in a code frame. So pound frame, gotta type in exactly, divided by 24. Let's see if what that looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so we got no interaction because we haven't applied any dynamics to it yet. That's no big deal, which we're going to do that in a little bit. Okay, so we got the animation going. I wanted to go the other way, right? So I'm going to click this and put a negative sign in front of the frame. And now it goes the other way. Okay, so now it's time to apply our dynamics. So select this, and we have to object, rigid body, passive, and then over here in your dynamics option, we need to select animated. Right, so now you already know what's going on here. It's because of our collisions, right? So we'll go back to the beginning and use mesh. And now we will boom, 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 boom. There we go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, looks cool.
All right, let's do one more of these and put it beneath it and have it go the other way. Easy peasy. So all we're going to do is duplicate this one. So Shift D and then hit the Z key. And then come back up to my this driver option where it said negative frame, and just take away the negative. So it's a positive frame now. So it goes the opposite way. Cool. Now it's grabbing the ones up off the bottom and bringing it up into it. It's kind of fun. So it goes back up, goes down, up. Okay, so now we're ready for texturing. Now we're ready for texturing. Let's go to our texture mode. So I'll just go over here to material for now. I don't know, we've got, why don't we give this, use our that new HDR thing that we just downloaded, right? So if I go, you may, and Kevin, you may need to walk me through this. This is our first time using that plugin. I'm gonna go down to the bottom. And easy HDR right there. If I click on the HDR, there are all my HDRs down here. So which one should I use? I can scroll.
Well, the first thing you have to do, I keep doing this even now.
Yep.
If I selected what one I like, you won't get it yet because it always defaults to the first one. So when you open up this panel and you just see one sitting there,
I'll do this one.
Have this go away for a second. See where it says create world nodes on that panel? You have to do that first.
Got it.
Now you can select your image.
Got it. So it's creating the nodal setup first.
Yeah.
Now we can go and click that. So we need to be in render mode to see it though. There we go. Nice. Really nice. Oh, this is handy. So click this here. Let's see what interior shot. Oh, that's a nice one. Let's see something like this. If I scroll down and keep scrolling down, I've got other stuff like that. Let's see what more I've got. I think I did that one already. Okay, I kind of like this one here. All right, so let's go give the table a surface. I might, I got some PBR surfaces, so I like to keep everything in one place. So if I'm going to, this whole project is saved under this lessons folder, presentations, and call that, there we go. Yeah, so rigid body right there. Okay. And I'm going to make a new folder called images. Okay, so from here, let's go over and just go over to polyhaven.com, which is where all free assets, HDRs, textures, and models and stuff. And I'll give you guys, I'll put the link in the chat box for your convenience. We've talked about this many times before, but polyhaven.com. So if I come over here, go to my assets, let's see, let's go to textures. We'll do something for the table. We got wood. I suppose we can do something like that. I kind of like this one here. That's called wood table. That's exactly what I want. All right, I'm gonna go to 4K option, download it, and I'm gonna put it right into that folder. My lessons folder, presentations, rigid bodies. So hit the R key, rigid bodies there, images, wood table there. Let's do something for the box. Let's go back. See, then sometimes they give us more options on the bottom here. Or I can go back to assets, go back to textures. Let's do something for the box. So how about, oh, I kind of like that though. I know this is a fabric texture, but I kind of like that for the box. We'll do something different. And do that for the box. Okay. All right. So I've got everything inside the images folder. So I need to go in here and go get the textures, copy, paste, call that one Haitian or Asian. Go to the wood table, copy, paste, and rename that one wood table. All right, all done. So what we've got in there is our PBR textures. Go to see all my PBR textures in here. Images, wood table, they're all there. Okay, so let's go to the wood table first. So go let's go back up here, grab the ground. I need to edit it, so I had the layer locked on this one. So we're gonna just select it. There we go. This already has a UV map, and I don't necessarily have to use this as a UV map as well. So I will just take this. I'm going to go, instead of my playback here, I'm going to go and change just to shader editor very quickly. N key to make that go away. Hit the new button to get my nodes here. Select this one. Get it a little closer up here. Make it easier to see. And I'm going to hit the N key up there to make that panel go away. All right. And from here, Control Shift T. It automatically defaults to my rigid bodies folder. Go to my images, go to my wood table. And I'm going to grab everything that I need here, these 4, and then done. There it is. And it's beautiful. That's real nice. All right, let's go to the box itself. Hit the new button. And let's do the same thing. Control Shift T. I don't want the wood. I could use the wood if I want to. Go to Haitian and grab these 4 like the last time. So this is a displacement. We don't need the mask. That's the metal, normal mapping, and roughness. There. And you can play around with your settings for this. So if you go over to your nodes, by default, it's using a UV map. We could instead, let's try what generated looks like. So I'm going to disconnect it and go to generate it. Interesting, but not exactly what we want. Could be. I kind of like it, actually. Or we use the object, the shape of the object, and it's giving me the same results. Now maybe we'll stick to the UV. We don't have a lot of time to go into UV editing, but maybe we just leave it just the way it is right now.
You can use the mapping node to kind of scale the things on the scale.
Yeah, yes, you're absolutely right about that. Let's do that. We got time to do that. Let's go over here. And I could just select them all. Or you can do this. Select them all and move your mouse right to left. There we go. And adjust the size as you want. Yeah. That works. Almost looks like a little bamboo type of a concept. All right, let's go texture the spheres now. So we'll do the spheres. Let's just get them all up in one position here. So Shift arrow key to the right. And I'm going to grab this top left one. We're going to add a new one. I think what I'm going to do is just play with the metallic. Take the roughness down. Right click, go to Shade Auto smooth it out. And give it probably a little more, a different color. So maybe something like, let's pull this out of the way. Yeah, something like that. Maybe more of an orange. Okay. I think that works. Let's take a look at got the roughness. Let's bring the roughness down a little bit so it's more reflections. Yeah, like that. Okay, let's go to the glass. Get the glass, turn it on. I'll do it the simple way this time. Principal BSDF is what it is normally. I can click this and simply go to the top to Principal Glass, I think it's called Glass BSDF. There you go. Click it. Did I have? Okay, hold on a minute. Didn't I have the glass chosen? No, I didn't. Did I? Darn it! I hate it when I do that. All right, let's go get the glass selected. So go to the glass selected. Yep, got the glass selected now. Now add new. I just saw it. There it is. It's a little, frosted because of the roughness here. So roughness will frost up your clarity. So pull it down. There we go. Now we can see more of the reflections from the surrounding area. Took it down to 0. See? All right. So now let's. I'm going to just turn off the glass temporarily again. I want to finish the spheres. So I've got this sphere selected. So what I want to do is I want to go into the marbles box. That one sphere. Let's see, where is it? Is it at the bottom or is it in the middle?
If you hit the period key on your keypad, it highlights it.
That's right. It'll jump to it over here. But okay. It doesn't matter so much. We'll just go ahead and select them all. So let me hit A key. Oh no, I can't do it that way. I'm going to just do it this way. We're going to right click on the marbles and we're going to marble there. Select the objects, all the objects. And I want to make sure that the one with the texture that I applied to is the one that's highlighted orange, which it is. Now here's the trick. Once you've got the last one highlighted orange with the materials, I can tell Blender to apply the same material to all these at one time. Control L, which is linked. Control L for linked. And what are we going to link? We're going to link the materials. But you can take note, there's other options too. Modifiers, grease pencil effects, UV mapping. But we want materials. So we select material, boom. They're all there. It's kind of really handy. All right, so take a look at this. I noticed something. Let's see. Let me go ahead and right click smooth. There we go for everything. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That looks nice. Now, the last thing I gotta do is do these here. So I haven't put a texture on these little pegs yet. And I'm just gonna make that probably something like a metal-like surface. So hit the new button and I'll just come over here, bring down the roughness, bring up the metallic. Maybe I'll give it a color that's closer to like greenish. Who knows? That's cool. All right. So now we'll take this on back to the timeline, pull that on down, and we get to preview our nice little animation. I know it's a stupid little animation thing. So, see, now what I need to do is build something where this scoops them up and another one brings them back up to the top and then pours them in again.
Little conveyor belt.
Yeah, conveyor belt type of thing. Yeah. I can probably do a conveyor belt that brings it up, drops it off, and it all rolls down and comes back down again. Oh, okay. So now I'm going to have to do that just for fun.
Or you can make a hole at the bottom of your thing in that little hole at the bottom and have a little cloth bag where they can fall into.
Huh. Well, that's an idea. Or create like it drops to the bottom hole, and then I create an animated conveyor belt that drags them up to the top and then drops them back in. But it looks pretty good. Not bad.
Cool.
Not bad at all. So I think what I want to do is probably add maybe spheres of different sizes now. And I can easily do that super fast because I already have the dynamics applied to these spheres. I can just set up another set. Let's just do it real quick. We got time. So I'll just grab one of these and just duplicate it. So Shift D and hit the Z key. Bring that. Okay. Oh, you know what? It's in animation mode right there. That's why it didn't work. All right, we'll do it again. We'll grab that one there. Shift D. Z key to there. Scale it down small. All right, Command A, rotation and scale. Let's get our good old friend, the array tool. And I'm going to give it a little bit of space like that. Okay. And then give it, we'll do 13. Then we'll put one more array tool on top of that. And we're going to array that on the y-axis. So instead of the x, there we go. And maybe we'll do 3 like that. Okay, that works. And we'll do one more layer going downwards. So we'll add one more modifier, array. This one's going to array on the Z. In fact, we'll just take and I'll bring this up a little more. It's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, that should work. Some of these are going to end up falling off the top, I think. But we'll see. Okay, so now let's turn on the glass. Well, before we do anything, we got to apply these, right? So apply everything.
And center the pivots.
Exactly, but I've got to break them out first. because they're all one object right now. So period key here. I'm going to have to go inside edit mode, face editing mode, A key for select all, P key, loose parts, M key, and call it small marbles collection.
That's one thing I liked in LightWave. You can keep it as one object even if they're all separated, because LightWave knows that they're parts, they're separated, even though it's one object. I always wished that Blender could steal that from them.
In time, you'll learn to do things the Blender way.
Oh, I'm learning.
All right. So we select all those, select all the objects, right click, and set origin to geometry. Okay, so I'm assuming everything else looks good. So if I go to the active 1.5 kilograms, I may want to go lighter on that. Friction's all the same, and then yes, the spheres, the dynamics. Yeah, I think that would work. Okay, so let's give this a try. Yep, it worked. Now we got small. The small ones went faster. Interesting.
Probably because they're the same weight as the big ones. The
All
mass.
right, so drop it down to 1. Okay, we'll stop it. We'll go to here. We'll go to, for all those up there, we'll drop it down to 1 kilogram. And then we have to come over here to your object and go back to your rigid bodies and say, copy all from active. Copy, because it's only copying those changes to that the one that's highlighted in orange. Everything highlighted in red doesn't get it. So now I do copy from active. All those highlighted in red gets copied from the orange. All right, then let's see what it looks like. Yeah, that's better. That did better. It's still coming down faster, but...
Well, the small ones do fall. Like if you had a box of cereal, all the small pieces fall to the bottom.
Can I go to the bottom first?
Yeah, falls through the cracks.
That's a small one. Okay, then that's the cereal I get. If I shake it up, I guess, yeah, I guess you're right. I like shaking up the cereal so I get the big stuff, the big crunchy stuff at the top.
Yep. Oh, you're that guy, huh?
Yeah, totally. I'm the guy that will pour all the cereal out of the bowl to get the toy inside first.
Yeah. Wonder if they still do that.
That turned out pretty good. That was kind of fun. I'm surprised that now I'm going to have to explore this even further.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's all we have for you guys this week. So, FYI, if anybody is interested, and I only have 1 seat left actually for the Blender Brilliance class coming up. I think I only have 1 seat left for that one. Somebody yesterday was supposed to take it, but I haven't heard anything yet. So I'm opening it up to you guys. So Blender Brilliance, it's a 5-week class. All right, it's a comprehensive, more intermediate to advanced Blender. And that's the come on, show it. That's really interesting. There we go. Thank you. Blender Brilliance is there. I'm going to give you the discount code. Okay. SD Pug 2025. And that is the discount code. So whoever wants that last seat, jump on it now and take it. We start on October 19th because we still got to finish up the current. That's on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So I'm finishing up the beginning class now, which is also a full class. And that's going to, and then this Blender Brilliance will start up after that one ends. I believe this Sunday is the last week for it. Anybody have any questions?
Nope.
No, everybody enjoy it? Everybody's quiet.
I'm sorry, I have my mic off.
Not you, I mean the people on Twitch.
Well, I do wanted to comment what I was saying earlier about using the primitive instead of the geometry.
Yeah.
You used the geometry and it worked fine. But what I was suggesting was if you used the primitive instead of the geometry, it would simulate marginally faster. Obviously, for a small scene like this, it probably doesn't make much difference. But like if you took those 3 rectangular primitives, put them for 2 for each wall and then one in the back wall,
Yeah.
instead of using the geometry, it would probably go a little faster and maybe even be a little more accurate.
Okay, so I'll play with those with custom primitives as constraints there, and
Obviously, if you wanted them to interact with something that was not boxy, then you couldn't use primitives. But if it is a boxy shape, you might as well use the primitives.
okay.
Obviously, it takes 30 seconds longer to set it up.
Also, if you're looking for if you have a simulation that's going faster than what you're doing, sometimes the objects from one frame to the next miss the geometry that they're supposed to interact with. Rigid Body World in the scene properties has the master menu. You can set your sub-steps per frame a little higher so that it calculates and doesn't miss something if things are moving too fast.
Right. So
Which will also slow it down.
Yeah, that's
right. But if you're looking for accuracy,
you go to scene. So you're talking about the scene. Here's your rigid body right here, and you're talking about the speed here.
No, that's to speed up the simulation in terms of how fast things are moving. The sub steps per frame.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're suggesting what?
Well, in your case, everything looks fine, but you could up that number if things are falling outside the box.
Right. Exactly.
Or sometimes you might do a cloth sim or something and you'll see some jittery or twitchiness in it. If you increase that, it'll probably help.
Okay. Okay. Those are all great suggestions. I will use that on a regular basis. You got your cash here. On a 250. All right, cool.
I'm seeing to the left of your box structure, it looks like ghosts of the particles.
Yeah, it looks like the ghosts. They're not rendering. They don't render. They just are there.
It's just some weird interface thing.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. I mean, the render portion looks good. Let me see. So if we render this, let's actually go to the 0 camera. Actually, go to Control-Alt-0, this view here. Oh, you know what? It goes away when you freeze it.
Hmm.
Per frame, it's the way it's
It's just an
catching up with
updating
the
thing.
animation. Yeah, it's just catching up the animation.
So if you were rendering this two images, it would do that.
Yeah, it wouldn't do that at all. So if I hit render,
And if you were probably in solid
there it
view
is.
mode instead of final render mode, it would look fine.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, in
See, that's the
LightWave, there's
actual
an option to
render.
turn off. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
In
he
Light,
was just saying that if I go to the solid view, you probably don't. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you don't see that happening.
in LightWave, there's an
I
option to
think it's
turn off OpenGL stuff when you do previews.
Yeah,
OpenGL stuff.
same in Blender. It's at the top.
It's at the top. What will be specific?
When you're in full rendered mode, like what Carm was saying, and you see those OpenGL overlays, you can turn that off.
Yeah, but you were saying where it was. I was asking where
Yeah, it's
specific.
at that top. It's the menu. If you put your mouse over where it says like global up in that menu,
Global here.
yeah, just and use your mouse wheel to scroll. Don't click. Yeah, just scroll until you get over to the. Oh, yeah, it's that icon on the left that's highlighted in blue. It's like an arrow with a curve in it. Nope. Keep going left.
That one.
Nope. Go to the left and click on that right there.
This one here.
Yep. That turns off. Oh, you know what? I guess the dynamic system has its own overlay for that sphere option on the balls.
Usually is this one here. There it is. It's that one.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah, that's your overlay features here.
Yeah, and in rendered mode, it should turn off that ghosting that you were seeing, that offset thing.
So if we go to, but dangerous to work this way because a lot of things you need to see. Yep, it turned it off.
Well, once you got everything sorted, you can turn it off, and it looks pretty.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're absolutely correct.
Because that looks nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. Okay, that was a fun one. If I want to go to a view option, turn that off temporarily so I can. There we go.
Just for the heck of it, Steve, on the speed setting in your rigid body world, off to the
All right, and then go over here.
Yeah, it's already open there. Just it says speed. Just put like two or three in there.
Okay, put in 3. All right.
It's just bugging me. Everything's in slow motion.
No.
Oh, it's more like real time.
And we can animate
a
that.
Machine that does that.
Yeah, we can animate that. Let's see what it looks like. That looks kind of fake this way, but it's kind of fun looking. Let's go to 2. Let's see what that does.
That feels good.
That looks like real time.
Yeah. Let's see what 1.5 does. It shifts back. Okay, that's 1.5. What do you guys think? 1.5 or 2?
Yeah, they both feel good to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just depends on your mood.
Yeah.
Do you want them to look like boulders or like marbles?
Marbles.
All right.
I like marbles. Boulders, that'll be interesting what boulders are, because boulders would really come down kind of funky, wouldn't it? Because boulders, we got a lot of irregular shapes. It's not going to be curved, a perfect sphere.
Now that calculation might take longer because
that'll take a lot longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fun one. Okay. I need to get out and get some exercise. I should get my bike out and go bike riding. So I just got over a cold this week on Wednesday. I got some 24-hour flu bug. And I was out of commission all Thursday and early yesterday. And now I feel a lot better.
That's good.
But this is flu season. Time to get the flu shots.
Yep.
I'll go to Costco and get mine.
I almost never get sick.
Because you're not out in front. You're probably not out around people a lot.
Yeah.
It's so isolated, you probably don't pick up the flu bug. You can still get it, but not as easily as I'll get it. When I was in the classroom teaching, I was always getting sick. Every year, at the same time, I was always getting sick. But ever since I started taking the flu shot, I rarely get sick now.
It's because classrooms are like germ barns.
But yeah, you're around a lot of people all day long.
Yep.
There's nothing you can do about it. Cool. This is fun, guys. Thank you both. You both are great. Thank you, Carm.
It's so true. I mean, you're welcome.
Okay. And thank you, Kevin. And thank you everybody for joining us on my Twitch stream here. We had an average attendance today, so a lot of people must not be in town or something. Now I'm going to be out of town coming up soon. I've got my Eastern Sierra workshop coming up. I'm doing a workshop. I've got an Airbnb rented, and we're going to be up at Mammoth Lakes. And that is a class. So I don't know if anybody's interested in that, but I'll give you the link to the Eastern Sierra workshop, and I'll also give you the link to, here we go. I'll give you the first Eastern Sierra workshop first. I'll also give you one of the Death Valley workshop, which is in November.
By the way, Stephen, in my game,
Yeah.
at the bottom of the well, there'll be a different object down there to drop the bomb on. And
Okay.
what'll happen is when you drop the bomb on it, there'll be a different pre-rendered explosion.
Okay.
So it might be like a pumpkin or a plate of bacon or something like that. All
Right.
sorts of different fun stuff that'll be fun to see explode.
Oh, that's going to be fun. Yeah, when that gets done, well, I'm going to play that game. Get everybody to play the game. All right, so everybody who's on Twitch, thank you for joining us. It was, I think we'll be back. I'm going to check my calendar right now as we speak. I think we are back again we're back again next week. But the week after, we're not. The week after, I've got my Eastern Sierra workshop. So next Saturday will be, we'll have another live broadcast. The Saturday after, we will not have a live broadcast, but we'll come back the Saturday after that. And I'll send notifications to everybody as well.
So nothing next week.
No, something next week.
Oh.
We do have a broadcast next week, but not the week after.
Oh, okay.
Not the week after. And then here's the link for the Death Valley class.
I look forward to my game actually being playable for next week.
Yeah, okay.
My intention is to have lens flares on the active piece.
Okay.
That'll be fun.
I remember when Stuart Ferguson and Alan Hastings didn't release LightWave until they perfected their lens flares. They wanted the flares to look as good as they do in movies.